This week, there's been one dominant question in the wrestling world. Who could buy WWE? With Vince McMahon back to apparently facilitate the sale of the company, we're going to take a beat to ponder potential PLCs and consider keen conglomerates that could drive Mr. McMahon's prized possession off the forecourt in the months to come. Now, the front runner and front of mind is Saudi Arabia. I know, there's been a lot of bluster about this billion-dollar buyer for the past few days. Notable wrestling reporters sharing intel that suggested a sale to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia was a done deal. And then intel being debunked by multiple other sources a few hours later. However, to quote the guest speaker at last year's Pyromaniacs convention, there's no smoke without fire. Dave Meltzer, among others, have said meetings between the parties have indeed been held. And there is a lot of interest in the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund being opened for the wrestling. WWE has done business for years with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and the Public Investment Fund has regularly been used for Saudi Arabia to stretch their business endeavors overseas and financially support Western companies and properties. Last year, they heavily invested in the golf world with Live Sports, a PGA Tour rival, and they invested in the football universe with the purchase of Newcastle United, a club, ironically, that has been regularly rumored to be on Vince McMahon's wish list. Lightshed Partners analyst Brandon Ross spoke to Front Office Sports, saying Saudi Arabia is furthering its designs to be, quote, relevant in the entertainment world and have, quote, an unlimited faucet of dollars. This all happens as the kingdom are accused of sports washing, using major sporting investment to deflect from its history of human rights issues. Now, this element has historically made many WWE fans and wrestling fans uneasy when it comes to shows like Crown Jewel and The Greatest Royal Rumble. By the way, congratulations to Braun Strowman, who will soon surpass 5 years as Greatest Royal Rumble champion. Knew you had it in you. Roman Reigns should be acknowledging him. As we said at the start of this section, the WWE connection to Saudi Arabia isn't going away, and possibly it could get stronger. Now, in terms of Western-based suitors for Titan Towers business hours, we have to talk about Comcast, the largest American multinational telecommunications conglomerate and an absolute giant of broadcasting worldwide. Among their litany of acquisitions, they own Universal Pictures, NBC, and the streaming platform Peacock, where we watch WWE right now if you're in America. In 2018, they bought British broadcaster Sky for a cool $40 billion, suggesting that they're looking to evolve and grow the way that the way that we consume media evolves and grows. And with that growth comes a desire for IPs. And an IP that they are already presenting on Peacock, maybe. Business Insider lists their value at $194 billion. So there's more than enough in the coffers to buy their favorite wrestling friends outright. Nick Khan believes they are viewed by Comcast as, quote, an entity with a treasure trove of intellectual property, which is very much the buzzword in media acquisitions right now. Also, if Comcast were to buy WWE lock, stock and barrel, it would mean no more money driving TV rights meetings. Comcast CEO Brian Roberts, however, said in October they weren't in a rush to purchase anything and wanted to invest more in their current properties. But the game has very much changed in the last week or so, and that statement could be one that Brian is already walking back on. When you talk about IPs, the OGs have to be another company that could pony up for McMahon land. Disney is without a doubt a brand recognized the world over, a conglomerate worth almost $190 billion. The house the mouse built has changed the game multiple times over. The introduction of awe-inspiring theme parks in the 70s, creating legendary motion pictures, bursting at the seams with globally acknowledged characters, and in recent years digging even deeper with the acquisition of Star Wars, Marvel, and 21st Century Fox, all followed up with the launch of value streaming service Disney Plus, now enjoyed by over 164 million users, most of which are binging The Mandalorian and the good episodes of The Simpsons. Disney had sampled the sphere of suplexes before this. Disney MGM Studios was the home to WCW programming through the 90s. And it even has some select programming on Disney Plus in the Philippines. We came close to seeing a global partnership with Walt's Cartoon World and Vince's Cartoon World back in 2021, with strong rumors about the weekly TV shows being moved to possibly ESPN Plus. But in the end, the Peacock mating dance was too enticing for Titan to ignore. It's also been reported this week that Nick Khan met with higher-ups in Disney whilst in Los Angeles, hopefully conducting a meeting whilst on the Jungle Cruise, which suggests that there is certainly a piqued interest in the company currently. This is a very different world that we could very well see Triple H and Co. called to the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. A Disney acquisition would no doubt see a permanent PG era immediately instigated, with swathes of back catalogue content possibly restricted or cut altogether to fit a more family-friendly IP-pushing paymaster. I mean, those action figures aren't going to sell themselves, you know. But with that, though, comes a whole lot of merch. We could see WWE also represented at theme parks. Maybe this John Cena roller coaster could come to light. I get it. Whilst Comcast and to a lesser extent Disney already have their fingers in WWE pie, so does Fox, who own the rights to Friday Night SmackDown. They've streamlined in recent times with the sale of a lot of their big entertainment assets to Disney, and as such, their market value is much lower than some of the names we've mentioned already, a paltry $17 billion. To pick up Piledriver PLC would be a significant sum of money compared to Comcast, but one that long-term could pay off. Also, their focus may be on a very different rumble right now. Fox is continuing to tussle with News Corp and Murdoch family about a merger. Either way, Fox will be watching the goings-on in WWE and around it very carefully. Now, when you're talking of watching, let's consider binge watching. And if Netflix could put WWE programming on their platform, it was back in 1997 when Reed Hastings, there's question marks over Netflix's current status with a mass exodus of subscribers over the past few years. Nothing they're doing wrong, but the global cost of living crisis is seeing people choose to spend money on heating their homes rather than binging Stranger Things. Despite market uncertainty, Netflix are keen to keep pumping out content, in particular make an investment in live sports. They've shown interest in European tennis in the past 12 months, but so far they have invested love. When it comes to wrestling, they have dabbled. We had the hit drama series Glow. We had a documentary on Jake the Snake Roberts. American audiences got Lucha Underground, you lucky things. And the rest of us got WWE productions such as the atrocious Main Event movie and Escape the Undertaker, a Philips CDI game on Netflix starring The New Day and everybody's favorite undead, The Undertaker. Netflix ambitions go beyond wanting to show the odd event, though. They want a sports league in their portfolio. Now, despite their current subs issue, they would very much like to be the dom of that sort of group. And that would involve some financial speculation to accumulation. Now, another company looking to get into that sports streaming shenanigan is Apple. So their name has come up a few times as a potential suitor for the E-machine. However, wrestling doesn't seem like something they're looking to add to their family right now. There is another substantial streaming entity, however, that could be kicking the tires of sports entertainment as we speak. Let's talk Amazon. The company called one of the most influential economic and cultural forces in the world. There's evidence all around of Amazon's power. I'm pretty sure if this camera that I'm talking to now fell off its tripod in the next few moments, I could have a replacement by the time I finish the next paragraph. Horrifying moral testing technology that has gone from Jeff Bezos' garage in Washington to one of the biggest commerce entities on the planet. They bought Whole Foods in America so they can quickly put food in people's faces as well as stuff their letterboxes. Their foray into the streaming world is as aggressive as the speed in which my new toaster arrived on Friday. I swear to God, I ordered the thing at midnight. It was at my house by 3 p.m. Someone is getting hurt. They bought out Viacom, giving them access to MTV, Nickelodeon, Comedy Central, BET, CMT, among many others. And recently, they bought the iconic movie lion to kneel with a purchase of MGM. Now deep into a streaming smackdown with Netflix. They even got on the ball with a piece of the sporting action that Netflix wanted, acquiring rights to American football and actual football. The idea of WWE being owned by one of the world's most valuable brands is a very likely one. For less than they paid for MGM's back catalogue of timeless movies, they could own almost every piece of professional wrestling content on the planet, as well as a product that can be left to churn out more every single day. WWE having access to Amazon's infrastructure would also be a massive tool in their expansion. This is an eventuality that was discussed pre-pandemic, believe it or not, by Needham Equity Research. They saw massive opportunity and dollar signs in WWE being shipped to Amazon, presumably in a brown box with a smiley face that was thrown over the garden fence. The sports streaming world has some new players. So how about one that has been in that racket for quite some time? Whilst Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics sees Amazon along with Comcast as one of the more plausible purchasers, he adds a third name to the mix: Endeavor Group Holdings Incorporated. They made a successful purchase of the UFC back in 2021. After many years guiding the careers of its talent through media partnerships, they made a substantial investment in the Ultimate Fighting Championship and helped generate more than $1 billion of business beyond the octagon in the last 12 months. Now, they've not got the cash reserves like Amazon or Comcast or the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and buying Vince McMahon's backbreaker bakery would be a lot of dough for them. But a potential speculate to accumulate situation. A similar one races to the front with Liberty Media, the company who owned Formula One. Like Endeavor, they'd proved success in growing a sporting brand that was considered by many to be niche. You got to admit, kind of sounds like us. Like Endeavor, they've not got the big bucks that the big boys could throw at McMahon and the shareholders, so a bidding war would see them hit the rumble strips in a race to own Titan Towers. But it's certainly something they would think about. Here's an interesting one to throw at you, one that we've talked about already in the last day or so. AEW, Warner Brothers Discovery, the Khan family, any combo of those. Not this this comes at a time where post-merger, there's cost cutting across the board at Discovery. There's a whole Batgirl movie that's like 99% finished and they binned it completely. So why would they want to buy another wrestling company? Well, David Zaslav, the CEO, says he doesn't want sports rights like Amazon or Netflix, but he's always up for a chat about buying a tasty IP if the price is right. We live in a universe where it's not completely unheard of that AEW and WWE could be under the same umbrella. In a twist to this, Tony and Shad Khan had entered the field of play for publicly traded Power Slams. The Barron's, the sister publication to the Wall Street Journal, a subsidiary of Dow Jones and Company, has reported that AEW's Khan family have shown interest in buying WWE. The story notes that while the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund still appears to be more likely to buy the promotion, the Khan family, quote, is in the pool of potential buyers, according to a source close to the situation. The Khans would likely look for a financial partner to acquire this asset. CNBC have also talked today about Tony Khan and family not just buying WWE, but interested in merging WWE with AEW. Imagine such an outlandish deal being brokered. How would Tony Khan resist the urge to simulcast Dynamite and Raw? Imagine that. Imagine that. Is there anything more outlandish than that? Maybe this Photoshop I made of Triple H and Stephanie McMahon at an AEW event. Yeah, that's the one that you've seen in your favourite wrestling meme page or in your WhatsApp group with your mates. I made that bad boy. Cheers for the invite. No shade. Everything belongs to the internet. It lit my heart up to see Sports Keeda had shared it and even put a lovely banner around it. SK are great. I love SK. Nothing but love. However, next time you break some wrestling news, I'm going to say it came from Barry the Shark. Is there anything more outlandish than a Khan family takeover of WWE? How about a former WWE star buying the company he worked for? If you smell what I'm cooking. Yeah, Jeff Jarrett has emerged. I'm joking. I'm talking Dwayne The Rock Johnson. The Rock could be the guy to invest in a pro wrestling passion project. It was in July last year, the Wrestling Observer revealed that the Scorpion King had shown interest in putting a consortium together and buying the company in the future. He's got the history more than any of our other candidates. Sure, Jeff Bezos has the cash flow. Who did he ever beat though? I don't see Comcast CEO Brian Roberts pinning Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 18. Mickey Mouse hasn't even been in a wrestling match, for goodness sake. Oh, he did. Oh, well, fair play. I digress. It's not just about Dwayne's deep wrestling roots. He is very well connected outside of the graps as well. WWE co-CEO Nick Khan's sister currently works with Johnson on Young Rock, and he is already sat in the boardroom across from Vince McMahon when he bought the weird Jinx sports outfit known as the XFL. He has got a lot of friends in very high places across the Hollywood multiverse and beyond that as well, and could very possibly gather enough like-minded souls, maybe Apple, as we mentioned earlier, to go in with him on buying his old playground. So when you think about it, The Rock as the true head of the table doesn't seem that unlikely, does it? Hey, look, whoever ends up crossing the T's and dotting the I's on the WWE IP is yet to be seen. And there'll no doubt be other names, rumors, alarm bells by the time this deal is brokered. In fact, if there's any that you think could be spoiling for a splurge on sports entertainment, leave them in the comments down below. Stay safe and love you, bye.